All right, folks, we're out here catching bait. We got a late start. I had to go get my driver's license renewed.
He got that 55 plus stamp.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not even 50 yet. In a couple weeks.
Still.
But anyway, one of the main questions we got from our last video was how long do we stay in one spot and chum for bait fish? Well,
he's gonna hold the camera on until he throws the net, which is gonna kill about 3 batteries. No, it's not. It would if you did, because you always wait forever.
I do wait a little bit, but I want to get things going. I want to see at least a bait fish or so. But typically I will stay in a spot for 20 minutes sometimes before we even see a single bait, especially if I know bait is around. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get them in the chum and get a chum slick started. As you can probably see how our boat is, where there's calmness behind the boat, that's actually a chum slick that's created from us. So the farther it gets out, the better it is. So we just started chumming, so it shouldn't take long, but I typically like to wait at least 20 minutes, if not a little bit longer than that, if I don't see any bait. If I start seeing bait right away, then I know we're good, but I know that there's bait here. It's just a matter of getting it chummed up and ready to go. Chad should have done this already though, because my appointment was at 8:15, and I told him last night, I said, hey man, I gotta go and get my driver's license done. Why don't you go ahead and go catch bait?
Yeah. Oh, why'd you only get 17 dozen?
I would have never said that. I'd have been happy if you'd have caught bait. But fortunately for us, the major feeding times at 11:34 to, or no, I'm sorry, 11:54 to 1:54. So we have time. We have time. If it was earlier, I would have told him to go catch bait. So Chad, get out there and catch bait.
Met Phil somewhere.
He's so lazy. Chad, you suck.
No,
but here's a little technique that Chad likes to do, especially if the tide's flowing pretty good on this flat, because it does flow pretty good. He'll throw the chum on the swim platform, and you can see how the waves will kick the chum off, so it gives it a slow dispersing effect to it. Now, not everybody has swim platforms, but if you do, there's a nice little tip for you. See, I told you, he thinks outside the box, even though he's got a bunch of sunscreen on his ear. But hey, at least we're wearing sunscreen.
I'm trying. This stuff at least doesn't burn.
Burn your eyes. Quit being a pansy.
Me, you were crying the other day in a towel.
It hurts, man. It hurts.
Can't see.
Have you seen any bait yet?
No.
Oh, I was just about to say, I posted our video on a new Facebook page called The Fever, and the guy messaged me and says, look, we don't have a chance to view all the videos. Is there any vulgarity or anything else like that? And I said, no. I said, we're very cognitive of that to make sure.
But you're not normally filming me when
and then he just flung a bad word. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Well, you know, sometimes records sell when they have explicit stamp on the front. Maybe this will do the same. Explicit content.
I'm gonna go get the net, because I have a feeling this water is really dirty. The whole bay has been dirty. It looked, well, from where we crossed over, it was dirty. So I'm thinking that this is the same thing last time where we were catching pinfish first. I like dirty water with pinfish because they don't see that net coming, and it makes it easier for them to catch. So let's see what we can do. Well, today I think Chad and I are gonna head a little north, I guess, and fish up north. See if we can find a little bit better water, because I think it was starting to affect it a little bit last week. Or we may run further south. I don't know yet. I think we're gonna hit north first, because that's where we caught our 2 keeper fish last week on Saturday. So we just need to get out there and see what happens. But we got plenty of pinfish, caught some whitebait. My whitebait wasn't mixed in real well, but we got enough for chum and everything. So I'm mainly looking for pinfish anyway, especially this time of year for grouper and that. That's what I'm looking for, these ledges right here. See this drop, it's holding fish right there. So I'm gonna go back. We're probably gonna have to figure out how we're gonna get the boat set up, but it's showing a bunch of fish right here on the bottom. Yeah, there's a nice part of the ledge right there. So now I'm going up the ledge. You can see it right there, coming up the ledge. So now I think the boat is going to set in the southwest direction, because I don't think the tide's moving very much. So we'll see what we can do getting the boat set right. See, now you can see it right here. We're right on the edge of the ledge. So we're gonna test it out, see what we can do. See if there's fish here. That's all you can do, is drop down, see what's going on. Now I know what my heading of the boat is. The tide is incoming. So the heading of the boat is almost southwest, due southwest. It's like 215, between 215 and 220. So we'll see what we can do. Well, I've started off with a knocker rig, and one of the main things you want to do is when you're using a knocker rig is when you first drop it to the bottom, especially with a big live pinfish, what happens is that pinfish has a tendency to swim away from the weight. Well, when they start to do that, by the time your weight gets to the bottom, he's halfway up in the water column. Like I had to reel up 15 feet just to catch back up to him and get him back down again. So when you're dropping the knocker rig, make sure that you reel up and get back tight on that bait, and then drop it back down, because if you're not tight on that bait, the bait's never going to go down, and if they don't go down, they're not going to get eaten. Yep. Flounder. Huh. We don't catch many of these, but when we do, they're decent. Well, what I did is I set us up in 28 feet of water, but we didn't get a bump, and I told Chad, I said, I want to adjust us out a little bit. So I adjusted us out to 36 feet of water, and that's where we were marking fish. Caught that flounder. Wasn't the targeted species, but hey, I'll take it.
Back flounder. That brown. There's only one problem with that, Todd. What? We didn't come out here to catch catch fish on whitebait.
Yeah, I know, right? We didn't get a ton of whitebait. I had it there for a reason.
I know, but I'm going to use it.
Just stick it on the rod holder. There you go. Yeah, we didn't catch a lot of whitebait. We just didn't, but we got enough. Come on, man.
Throw it. Every time you turn that camera on, I can fight him for 3 days.
I at least thought you had him up.
I did too.
So right now, I've got a couple fish in the box. I've caught some more grouper, stuff like that. Poor Chad has yet to catch a fish. He's lost some big fish this morning. I can tell you that. That's a big old rock. So anyway, he's sitting there and he's talking to me. He's like, man, I was trying to figure out what was smelling so bad. And oh, the fish was in a rock? Yeah. Son of a gun, look at that. So anyway, poor guy has been struggling all day
I think it's because of this pinfish poop on my shirt.
And the pinfish pooped on his shirt. And he says, man, it smells.
Oh, look inside of his mouth.
Is that mine?
No, that's a ball jig. No, that's your Huggy.
That's my Huggy that I just broke off? I broke off on that little fish?
Yep.
Come on, man. Wow. That tells you that they'll re-eat again. They're hungry. Right now we're in the major and the bite's pretty decent.
For one of us.
For one of us. But poor Chad's been struggling pretty good. I feel bad for him, but because everybody says, oh, Chad's such a good fisherman. Well, he's a good fisherman, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I put him on the fish. Right, Chad?
Not today.
What do you mean not today? How many big
one.
fish have you lost, though?
That was number one.
Yeah, whatever. No, I'm done. Well, that was kind of funny. This gentleman that just came up and talked to us, he's from Jacksonville. He's down here on vacation. So Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, Manatee County. If you guys want to be partial sponsors of the Tampa Bay Fishing Channel, because we've had people come over from the East Coast. I have a guy that's coming down from New Jersey all the time on vacation just to come down here and fish Tampa Bay because they watch our channel. But that's cool. That's a cool thing about it. Chad's on, Chad's off. Story of the day. But it's really cool because we're touching so many people, and sometimes you don't realize it until you meet people like that, and then they tell you, hey man, we drove all the way from Jacksonville, we're down here for a week for vacation, and they've caught keeper grouper, keeper mangrove snapper. So that's what it's all about. If people are actually learning the techniques and putting them to use, coming here and you know, vacationing and spending their dollars here locally, which is really nice. But at the same time, I was thinking about this too, is that a lot of our techniques don't necessarily just work right here in Tampa Bay. They work all over the place. I have guys down in Southeast Florida, down in the Keys, down in Southwest Florida, Northeast Florida, Northwest Florida that are all I've got people all the way up the Carolina coast that are buying our stuff and using our techniques, and it's working for them. So it's just not Tampa Bay, it's just not just this region itself. It's kind of a bigger deal than that. So that's why we try to explain as much as we possibly can to help you guys go out and catch fish. Now, if you have a partner on the boat, my partner today is just
you don't have a partner.
Horrible.
You got a ballast.
Horrible.
You got a ballast.
But anyway, it's all good. He'll redeem himself. I'm not worried about him. He will redeem himself. He always does. If he starts off strong or bad, he ends up strong. If he starts out strong, he usually ends up slow. But that's just the way it is. Me, I've been pretty consistent. But he did get me my Huggy back that I just broke off. It's like a clean break too.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Interesting.
So as Todd just showed, I've been stinking pretty bad today. If anybody has a chicken delivery service, I'll take 2 roosters. I need some chicken blood or something on my face or somewhere, because today just ain't my day. I'm fishing a lot like Rich today. More of a standard buyer than a fisherman. But it's gonna get better. It's got to, because I can't get any worse.
Don't lose him, Chad. Get him, Chad.
Dinking.
Really?
That's a big pinner.
Oh, come on. There's one.
Backer got him again.
Yep. That's 3 in the boat for me. Well, 3 keepers: a snapper, a flounder, and a grouper. Oh. Get him, Chad. Son of a... He is sucking it bad today.
Picked up a little bit though. I did get a couple in the boat.
Yeah.
Which is one I did this morning. He's got a big head, but his body don't blink.
He's spitting up chummers too. A lot of little small pinfish.
Yep.
We've been chumming at this spot, and these fish are spitting up our chummers. And everybody asks me, well, when is a good time to chum? Well, a good time to chum is when that tide is during the change, or when it's a very, very slow incoming or outgoing tide. That's when I like to chum, because if you chum on a heavy moving tide, your chum's just gonna go away from the boat, away from the area, and it's just not gonna be effective. Unless you're way above the area and you're chumming back, then it might work, but I wouldn't recommend it in really deep water. You can do it in 20 to 25 feet of water, but as soon as you get past 25 feet of water, it's gonna be more difficult to chum. So I just like to try to chum on the slack or very slow moving tides. That bottom is lit up. We're right over a rock pile. We've been chumming them. He says he ain't done. Doubled up.
Make it.
It'll be close.
This one's got a bunch of baby pinners in its gullet.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what's happened is this tide is now picking up, and it's going to be a pretty strong outgoing tide, so we're moving to our 1 1/4 ounce huggy jigs, even though we're only in 23 feet of water. But it's gotten to the point now where the pinfish aren't going down like they should, and so we're throwing. Chad's just lost 2 really good fish in the last couple of minutes, so it made me change over. One thing that Chad and I do a lot of is communication between each other, finding out, you know, if one person's getting more bites than the other one. We ask, are you pitching out? What kind of bait are you using? What kind of jig are you using? So it's good to communicate between each other just to find out who's doing what, because if one guy's getting bit more than the other, then that one is doing something different, of course. No wonder why. I thought he was a monster. Cold, I poked him in the gill. For sure. Not even in the gill. Well, close enough.
The big ones move in. Wow.
That's another fish.
Yep. Yours got something in his mouth.
We got jig.
I saw something green.
It's gonna be close. 23 3/4. Come on. Well, folks, there's a dead red grouper. He's been dead for a while, though.
Yep, no color left in him.
Which is a good indication. If there's been dead fish, but they've all been pretty old from what it looks like. So that's pretty promising, I think. Let me clean my lens here. But Chad and I had a great day. Caught a ton of fish. Again, a ton of 23-inch fish, 23.5-inch fish. Lost some really big ones as usual, but the bite was slow. But then, as that tide slowed down, yeah, that's a scorpion fish there.
Oh, it looks like that's a big, or a bat fish.
Yeah, either one of the two. But there's another dead something over there.
What?
It's over there, see it? But it was a good day. We're gonna probably fish Friday and Saturday. So Chad's took some time off of work before he switches jobs. So we're gonna go and do that. We may even go offshore tomorrow. I don't know yet. It looks like trash, doesn't it? All right. Well, folks, thanks again for watching. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate all the support. Again, we have a boat show coming up at the end of this month, the 25th, 26th, 27th. We'll be at the Sunray Marine booth, as we typically are. And if you get a chance to come out and see us. It's always a lot of fun. So fish more, catch more. See you on the flip side.